as you guys know, my mom's pretty complex. And for an example of this was about like 2 years ago. Before I joined high school, and right as I was graduating middle school, my mom and I went on a trip. I think it was a few other family, I don't remember. But I went with her to the Acropolis in Greece, and all went well until this little thing happened. The thing is, y'all, is that after I went up to the Acropolis, I took a little bit long, but eventually my mom wanted to go about like a few minutes earlier, but I ended up delaying because I didn't even realize as I was recording so much time was passed. Obviously, it's not like 5 hours, but a few minutes passed. Notable, a few minutes definitely passed. From then, the thing is, I was yes, my mom did call me, mom did text me, but my phone was on mute, and obviously my phone also overheated, so I had to let it cool down for a few minutes. But the thing is, y'all, is that as I eventually looked at the text, my mom called me out. All right, she called me out in the text. She used like F words, she used cuss words, and she also threatened that she would not send me back to where we're going, like the hotel. And the issue with this, y'all, is that my mom here again, like in front of an entire crowd as I was going through, she dropped my phone. And the next issue is she also ended up using the F word at me in cuss, all right, in text. She never really says that to me. Like we both do not tolerate saying the F word to each other. We don't tolerate cussing to each other. The thing is, y'all, is that even then, later on, my mom forced me to beg her not to send me to an all boys school. From my high school career, I didn't want to go to an all boys school because I want to learn from both boys and girls, not just boys. I generally, when it comes to culture and about everything else. But my mom threatened that possibility of me going to an all boys school and then threatened to send me there. But thankfully, I didn't go. But her types of threats right here, like she doesn't mean these types of threats and that it's gonna happen, but rather that moment where she dropped my camera in front of the crowd, that moment where she physically pushed me, that moment where she cussed at me in text, the moment where she made me beg on my knees not to send her. Like that's toxicity right there. Like, all right, the way she's conditioned to think that way because she has no other reasonable response. I tried to reason with her, but she couldn't reason back. Instead, she just responded back in toxicity because she's projecting it. The way she was raised, she's pushing it directly back onto me. Like she's trying to pass down a generational flaw and a misunderstanding. And I'm beginning to see this now, y'all. Is that all of a sudden after this clarity, like after my parents are now gone, then a trip back to the Philippines, I'm beginning to see now is that my mom was not being loving. She was not doing her best to care about me. This is toxicity. We're gonna stand down for it. Well, we're not gonna stand down for it, but rather we're gonna stand up for the toxicity, then call it out. And that's the thing right there is that you guys know I played Detroit Become Human before, right? Yearly, analytically, and coldly within the eyes of like Connor. Well, he would see my mom as someone who is not necessarily evil by her own state, but she's evil because of how people raised her. Because if she was back in the Philippines, the way her culture raised her was far more different. The way they teached her emotional regulation, probably non-existent, but it didn't work either. The way they did it, it was completely different. The way they did things, now my mom's projecting that onto me, thinking that it's gonna work, but it's not gonna work. Making me beg on my knees, pushing my camera down, that is not a form of love. That is a form of distorted love. That distorts the boundaries between um punishment and anger. My mom, that is a really big story. Even then, back in my old personal vent channel, even then, my mom is still pretty, pretty toxic in that manner. Even then, it's difficult to talking about that. The reason that I'm saying to all this now, I'm not saying this to no single person out there. I'm saying this to everyone so that the truth goes out. The way that this conditioning is, y'all, it is toxic. All right, it is meant in good faith, but the way it's communicated is completely incorrect. The way it's communicated is toxic. And this needs a generational change, and I'm gonna need to change this once I become a father myself. I'm also saying this, y'all, is that the truths about my mom and her complexity, they need to go out, irrespective of what people think. In order for the truth to be recognized, y'all, I believe that must be communicated first, within the enlightenment, reason over fear.